Hi, I'm Andrew Kosove. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Alcon Entertainment and the producer of Blade Runner.
Talk a little about what role Comic-Con plays for this film this year for you guys.
Well, Comic-Con's an extremely important event. The people who come here are the most passionate fans in the world of storytelling. It's started as comics, of course, decades ago, but now it's about a lot of different content, but it's still about great stories. So for those people to come and experience here an immersive multimedia experience, a combination of VR, we've reconstructed a practical set, and then to be able to tell other people about it, it's hugely valuable for us in spreading the word about Blade Runner.
Can you talk about the VR, especially since you guys are even having the full immersion with the D-Box?
Yeah, so the VR we worked very hard on. Our developer that we're working with, Turtle Rock and Oculus, have done a terrific job. We think this is really state-of-the-art VR. And of course we have the D-Box chairs so people get the full motion of experiencing what it would be like to fly in a spinner through Los Angeles. And then when they land, they're actually arrive in the physical set that we've recreated for them.
How does this set compare to what you guys actually had when you were filming the movie?
This set here is about a 2/3, I would say, scale of the actual set we built when we filmed.
When it comes to the Blade Runner movie, can you talk a little about the practical versus CGI and what you guys, how you approach?
I mean, one of the key aspects to our approach on Blade Runner was to do as much in camera as possible. Our brilliant director, Denis Villeneuve, who directed Prisoners for us and then went on to direct Sicario and Arrival, he doesn't like green screen, and frankly, neither do I. So we have visual effects, of course, but very little of this movie is done in green screen. It's really a very practical experience that allowed the actors to work in a tactile environment where they had real props and real sets to work with, and that was a big part of the creative vision for the movie.
How do you feel the real physical time between the two films impacted the storyline of what you guys are doing?
It's a very interesting question. I mean, I'm not certain in movie history that there's been a sequel so long after the original movie. We're really breaking new ground. And only with Blade Runner, I think, which is such an iconic film, was so ahead of its time. And yet, the design elements of the movie, the musical elements of the original film, the entire aesthetic is so wrapped in our culture today because it was so ahead of its time. Can we bring that back to audiences today and now explore a storyline that in truth Ridley never meant for the first movie to be a one-off film? And so we're continuing an idea that he and the original writer Hampton Fancher had going back decades. It's a privilege. I can't even put into words how excited Broderick and I are, and Denis and our entire team, to bring this for audiences. They're going to be wowed.
What can you tell us? I know there's a lot of secrecy involved with this film, but what can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, the reason we have a lot of secrecy involved with the film is not for pretension. It's because we want the audience to enjoy the surprises. It's not as much fun if you know information. Of course, you know, Ryan Gosling is our lead, and he's on a journey. That journey puts him in touch with Harrison Ford, and it's about a secret that's been unearthed that's going to fundamentally change society.
One of the things when you were talking about the longevity of this franchise, back in the original film, Atari was a big part in terms of the backdrop. Talk about bringing that brand back for this one.
Okay, so here's the thing. We have a rule, which is the original Blade Runner took place in 2019. We're in 2017. So obviously the Blade Runner 2019 is not our 2019. So we've approached Blade Runner as an alternate timeline. So our 2049 isn't like what we expect 2049 to be 30 years from now. We expect it to be like what it would be like in the Blade Runner world 30 years after the original film. And to that end, our rule is very simple. No brand that did not exist when the original movie came out was eligible to be part of our film. So if you were Apple, Apple's not in the Blade Runner world, it doesn't exist. IBM could, but not Apple. And of course, one of the most iconic aspects of the first film is Atari, and we thought we had to bring Atari back into our film, and that's why we did it.
You guys even featured them pretty heavily
Oh,
in that
absolutely.
trailer.
We think the design element and that shot of the spinner going through the deep canyon, we just love it.
Do you personally have a favorite Atari memory from any point in your life?
It's interesting. I honestly didn't go up as a big video game. My household didn't allow it. So when I'd go to a friend that had Atari, it was like the greatest thing. I was so delighted and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the new thing now with Atari, they're actually going into wearables. They're debuting a brand new
Yes,
hat
and
here.
Indeed, it's a Blade Runner Atari hat we're
Yes.
debuting with wearable technology, and that, of course, very much fits into the Blade Runner concept of, again, where Blade Runner has influenced fashion. That's an exact example of where Atari and Blade Runner, two brands, can combine to do something together. It's awesome.